everybody, and welcome to the Inspired Disorder podcast. My name is Ray Taylor, and tonight I'm joined by...
I'm Derek Helmer.
And I am Justin King.
And we are a weekly art/geek culture podcast. We record weekly, starting around 10:30 on Tuesday nights, Pacific Standard Time. And you can find the live feed at inspireddisorder.com/live. You can find our edited version of the show, which is void of all mistakes and typos and things of that nature, at inspireddisorder.com/podcast or through iTunes by Saturday. In tonight's episode 29, we will be discussing a few topics, the first of which is an earthquake that happened to our central location, kind of, in Southern California.
We all felt it. We all had some love.
Exactly. Then we're going to go back into a subject we've probably dipped into far too many times. We're going to talk about the iPad because that was just released finally to the public. And then we're going to go into some Sound Geek Easter egg stuff, since it was just Easter the other day. Let's go into some Easter egg stuff with something some Sound Geeks like to call the Wilhelm Scream. That's all I got to say about that. So we'll go into those. But first, let's just get this shit started. Mother Earth making a dance party, and we were all there, invited. Let's go. What are your experiences, guys, with the recent earthquake, which was I think that was on Easter, actually.
Sunday.
That was Easter, yeah.
So, bring it. Who's got an earthquake story?
Justin, why don't you go first?
There you go, Justin.
Well, I was going to say mine is actually pretty lame, so I was going to go last. I was going to try to go last, but well, basically my story. I mean, the timing of this whole thing was really crazy because I left my house on Easter Sunday around 3. I'm not sure what time it was. It was like 3 something, but I left my house, drove to Office Depot, and when I got there, people were running around the store all crazy and talking about earthquake this and earthquake that. So I get there and I'm like, "Well, what just happened?" They're like, "Did you not feel the earthquake?" I'm like, "No, when was it?" I'm like, "An hour ago or something?" And he's like, "No, 5 minutes ago. You didn't feel it?" It's like, "No, I was driving." So I literally got in my truck and started driving like within seconds of the earthquake hitting. And I remember my truck kind of like the suspension kind of acting funny when I was on Fletcher Parkway, which is like right the street from my house, like bouncing kind of funny. And I was like, I didn't think that I was moving at the time. So I thought nothing of it. I thought I was like, the road was messed up or something. So I just kept going, doing what I was doing, and did not feel pretty much anything from the main quake. So that is my lame-o story.
Lame-o. Not really.
What a waste.
The people at Office Depot were freaked out, though. Like, I guess stuff was falling off the shelves there. And, like, when I first got there, it was, like, chaos in Office Depot. I was like, what the fuck is going on? It's Easter Sunday. I expected nobody to be in there at all. And there's people in there, and they're all freaking out. So that was the coolest part for me.
All right, Derek. What about you, man?
I was working at the movie theater, and the ground started to rumble, and the building started shaking, and I heard noises, and then I heard a stampede of people running down the stairs, running out of the theater. Now, for us, like, it felt like probably like a 5, maybe 5.5.
Mm-hmm.
Enough to definitely get your attention, but, nothing major or catastrophic. And so we hear the stampede of just mothers and children running out of the theater. And we had this one mother who was pushing her own kids out of the way so she could get out. And she's just like, we're at the epicenter. She's just like tripping over her own family and just like, out of my way. Just, oh my gosh, I got to get out. And anyway, so we're watching this, and then I had employees that were trying to recover the 3D glasses and everything while all this is going. Sir, I need your glasses.
It's like the earthquake going on. Like,
yeah, right. In the mid earthquake.
Glasses back.
That's right. That is our property, sir. But no, it's actually very entertaining for me to be at work during that because it lightened up the day. But luckily,
did you actually feel the earthquake happening? Or
oh yeah, there was no doubt. It definitely was kind of jolty, even for being a couple 100 miles or 100 miles away from it. I'm trying to think, how far is Calexico from the desert? I don't know, a little over 2 hours probably.
Yeah.
But it was definitely a fun day, as long as there was no real damage. But I started looking at Twitter right away to find the news, and actually on CNN they were doing iReports, and Palm Springs was featured a lot actually on CNN. So there was some damage in some of the stores, like our Barnes and Noble had been, like some of the ceiling tiles and signage had like caved in from out here. So I don't know. It's very, very bizarre from that far of a distance that caused any sort of damage whatsoever out here is bizarre. But what about you, Ray?
Well, my day, I was actually in the shower when this whole thing happened, and so I don't know how much more vulnerable you can get than being naked in the shower.
Naked quakes.
And happens
to everybody.
I had I have a little iPod player in my bathroom, so I had my music going, I was singing, and I was, just getting all clean and shit. And then all of a sudden I was like, what's going on? Like, I felt like disoriented. I was like, am I like getting dizzy? What is going on? Like, I thought it was me, because it was very rolling here. It wasn't like a sudden anything. It was it was different. It was almost like an extremely large like semi going down the street kind of, but like amplified to a huge number. But yeah, I was in the shower, and like all of a sudden I was like, what the fuck? I thought I was, I don't know. It almost felt like I was drunk and just couldn't, I had no equilibrium. And then all of a sudden the shower door started to shake, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? So I opened the shower, I'm like looking out, I was like, what is this happening? And it was like, so I put a towel on, ran outside. I was like, maybe like a garbage truck ran into my condo complex. And I like looked out the window, because it didn't feel like an earthquake because it was super long. And then there's nothing outside the window, so I ran to my back porch and looked out there. It's like maybe something like a tree fell down, but although that wouldn't be like that long of a shake. And then it stopped, and I was like, well, hop back in the shower and finish that shit off. It's like, I'll check Twitter later, see what's going on, because I know if anything's going on in my area, then I'll see it on Twitter. And sure enough, everybody's like, oh my god, that was a crazy fucking earthquake. It's like, I'm so scared. But it's like, seriously, I've been in San Diego for almost 8 years, and like, this is the first earthquake I've truly felt. Like, I grew up in the Coachella Valley, and you'd feel earthquakes like yearly. Like every year you'd feel an earthquake. So it was really commonplace there, and ever since I moved out here, I really just don't feel them. People was like, oh, did you feel that? I was like, no, I didn't feel nothing. That one, because I think it's because it's so long, it's so like intense. I actually felt it, which according to the USGS, it was a 7.2 magnitude earthquake in Baja, California. So pretty big and pretty close to San Diego, where I'm currently at. And then, which is only short, hour and a half away from where Derek is. But yeah, it was pretty crazy. It's like, I'm so used to earthquakes because I grew up with earthquakes that it wasn't a big deal. It was just weird that I haven't felt one in like 7 or 8 years. So yeah, it was like, oh, that's what that feeling is. And it was kind of long too. But it's really funny to hear like people in San Diego that aren't used to feeling earthquakes as much as, the people from the Coachella Valley are. Like, they freak out, man. So I was like making sure certain people were okay, just because I don't know, some people like really freak out. And I remember, the next day people were like talking about getting earthquake kits and stuff like that. It's like, and the funny thing about earthquake kits is like that the earthquake kit is like a survival pack. Like it has food and things like that. It's like if you're in a place where there's a lot of regulations about building codes and things like that. Like if the whole place is demolished, you're not like in third world countries. Like the survival packs for this stuff is kind of retarded, in my opinion, in like places in the US, most places in the US. So especially for earthquakes, it's like, I mean, it's like, I don't know where you're going to have an instance where there's not going to be a McDonald's still open somewhere,
Well, I have actually gone through it when I was a kid. We had the great big Landers earthquake, which was like 7.6.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think. I was 11 years old when that one hit. And I do remember that our town was, there were quite a few businesses that were destroyed and then later demolished because of it. So, like, we were a small town to begin with in Yucca Valley.
Yeah.
And then after that, we lost probably about 20% of our businesses. And, we lost our movie theater. We lost, like, Kmart and stuff like that. Anyway, I remember that the water supply, I guess the pipes had been all cracked or something. And anyway, the water supply was tainted. We weren't allowed to drink it for, I think it was about a week or so. Mm-hmm. So that was the only thing. Like, there was nothing in an earthquake survival kit that would have helped us except water. We actually had, I remember Budweiser. They just Anheuser-Busch donated just tons of water to the community. They used all their bottling plants for water only. And we would get these. It's funny. I remember as a kid, we would get these cans of Budweiser water, and they all tasted had the same aftertaste of beer. Like, I guess just beer was still in the pipes or whatever. However they bottled it,
poured them out.
You could still taste like a little bit of Bud in it. It was funny. As an 11-year-old, that was my introduction to beer. That was
this water tastes good.
I'm like, there's something here.
Yeah,
I don't know. They were just trying to drug us and keep us drunk, so we wouldn't panic.
Man.
With all the earthquakes, but
yeah,
earthquake survival kits. I don't know.
It has to be a big one. It has to be like a 15 point something, and just fucking the earth needs to just split in half for you to need one of those things.
Yeah, a town needs to be swallowed up for you to be one of those. Or if you were in Haiti or if you were in Chile or something, sure.
If you're in a place where there's like poor infrastructure and there's no building codes, where like there's a little shake and stuff falls down, like stuff meaning like walls and roofs fall down, then you kind of need a survival kit. But it's a big shake. I mean, that was a pretty big one, fairly close to San Diego, and it was just, it was a nice little ride. I was like, whatever. Like, what? And then I guess there's been a ton of aftershocks and stuff like that, which...
Yeah, I did feel one of the aftershocks about maybe an hour and a half or so after the main one. I was at home, and I was checking my stuff to see if anything had fallen off my dresser. And there's one thing that was about to fall from the whole thing, and when I saw it, it was my beer stein I bought in Munich that's basically irreplaceable at this point. And that was the one thing that I was about to fall.
Yeah.
It's like, Mother Nature, you bitch.
Yeah, seriously, I don't know what it is.
You're going to take my beer stein from me out of all things, Mother Nature?
How dare you?
That same earthquake in '92, I had shelves over my bed, like shelves that used to like put up on the wall, and I had trophies and books and just stuff that little boys would have. And that's what woke me up, was all that was collapsing on my head, just like, I'm trying to think, it was like 2 or 3 in the morning. Just a rude awakening of just like freaking baseball trophies and stuff.
Yeah.
Landing on my noggin. How do you do, sir?
Okay.
Luckily it knocked into a daze and I didn't even care about the earthquake. I was just like, my head.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, stuff falling off shelves, if it's over your head, that sucks. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Can't really do.
But normally, no big whoop.
But yeah, it's like things shaking off a shelf is the biggest worry so far.
Yeah,
for the most part. But But I mean, it was pretty crazy. And the craziest thing was like, my first reaction after that was like, I need confirmation from like Twitter or Facebook. I need to know that I'm just not tripping balls or something for no reason.
Yeah. Once I got out of Office Depot, I checked Twitter, and it was like every post for at least like a page. The same on Facebook, even more so on Facebook, was earthquake, capital letters, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. It's like so many people while the quake was happening, because in San Diego, you had time to, send out a status update or a tweet, during the quake. It's like instead of running for cover, possibly, having to flee for their lives, they're on Twitter and Facebook. It shows you the popularity of those websites, folks.
Well, the most bizarre thing to me, because I did the exact same thing, logged on to Facebook, saw Twitter, like everybody. What got me was that all the people that I follow on Twitter, all throughout the state, California, everybody was saying the same thing. I'm like, fuck, how big was this earthquake?
Exactly.
Like, how can we all have felt the same earthquake at the same time? People in San Francisco, you guys in San Diego, out here in the desert.
San Fran felt it? I didn't hear about that.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
They actually felt it delayed. I think it was like 8 minutes later.
Well, it's got to go through the whole earth.
Take some time to travel.
Yeah.
So how bizarre is that?
I think actually the first person that I saw who tweeted some actual like information was JL, who was the guest on our show a few weeks ago or a month ago, or I don't know how long ago it was, but I think he tweeted the kind of where the epicenter was and like the magnitude. Although I think it's changed since then, but that was the first like information-based tweet, like, "Oh my God, the ground is shaking! I'm gonna die!" Mm-hmm. So, it's the one thing that about Twitter is real-time information is gonna be real time. More than news, more than anything else. It's like
unfiltered and unchecked.
Exactly. If there are people in your area or in your general, vicinity, and they like an earthquake, they're all going to feel it, and they're going to be tweeting and Facebooking about it. And that's what happened. And so apart from that, the latest twit, This Week in Tech, I don't know if you guys have listened to that. I know, Derek, you listened to this?
I did, yeah.
Okay, yeah. And it was kind of crazy because they record Sundays, which was Easter, which was the day this earthquake happened. And it's probably like 20 minutes, half hour into the show, one of their guests who was in the I think she was in the LA area.
She was actually in San Francisco.
Was she really?
I'm pretty certain.
I think she was in LA. I don't want to disagree with you, but I'm pretty sure.
All right, we'll see. But she
felt it, and it was pretty big, and it lasted for a while, which kind of makes sense. I mean, it took me a while to figure out what was going on, and then I realized what was going on. It was still happening, and it's kind of crazy to be listening to a podcast like Twit that was basically recording the exact time the earthquake happened. And, they had the live, and the same thing kind of happened with the other people that weren't experiencing the earthquake, was that they didn't really believe she was in an earthquake until they saw Twitter or, the social networks blow up. So they had to have that confirmation. It's pretty crazy.
It was. It's very crazy.
But, so it was kind of weird because I didn't realize until I was listening to it today or yesterday that they record on Sundays, religiously, basically.
Well, Sundays at 3 p.m. Pacific.
Yeah. So and it happened at 4 something. But yeah, it was kind of weird to jump into a podcast where you don't realize what's gonna happen, and then what you experienced yourself just
I can
happened.
totally connect with the show now. I know what they were doing.
Yeah. So yeah, it's totally crazy, and it's so funny. The funniest part of it was, there's 2 funny things. One is just how everybody overreacts when there's an earthquake.
Yeah.
Just because they're not used to earthquakes. Which, I mean, it's funny because I grew up in a place where there's a lot of earthquakes. And the second thing that's funny is that I forgot what my second thing
what your
funny
point
is.
was, sir.
The second thing that's funny is that I forgot what my second point was. So that's pretty shitty. But it's pretty crazy that
well, this one, like there was I was having fun with it, but there was a slight fear. Like once, like it started out kind of gently rolling and everything, and I was like, oh wow, earthquake, and then came like the jolts and the dropping of the ground. Kind of, I was like, oh, oh, and so ever since being a kid and living through a lot of big earthquakes up in the Yucca Valley area. They all kind of had that same feeling. The ones that I was awake for, it always starts off kind of like smooth and gentle, and rolling, and then comes the drop. So as soon as the drops came in, I was like, oh my gosh, I think this actually might be a big one, So it was, I had a moment of yay, this is cool, and then oh shit, it's been a while since I've had one of those, stomach dropping sensations from an earthquake.
Damn. I'm still so bitter about not feeling like really any of that. It's just, I mean, the timing behind my situation was just nuts because I honestly must have left my house within seconds of it hitting.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't just driving. I mean, Alpha Steve from my house is like 2 blocks.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like it was a long way to go. And just the fact that I wasn't just, in my car, I was actually moving when it happened. So just the coincidence of everything, it just sucks for me, dude.
It just wasn't your time. Yeah. That's all it was.
I did feel some of the aftershocks. They were pretty nuts. There's actually one a couple of nights ago around like 4 a.m. that woke me up from my sleep.
Yeah.
It was like just a real quick jolt, but it was enough to like bounce me in my bed. And I was like, what? I woke up and then I was just ready. I was like fired up.
Jennifer Townsend, she felt that actually.
I think it was last night or the night before. It was.
I think it was like the night.
It was the same. It was the night after.
The night of.
Yeah, night of. Yeah. There was one at 4 and one at 6. I think were 2 big aftershocks.
Yeah, the one at 4 totally woke me up like out of a deep sleep. It was just like a quick little jolt, but enough to startle me.
So thanks to Justin and Derek for covering some time. But I remember the other funny thing. Was
you caught what we were doing there?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Right,
Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Co-host for a reason. No, the other funny thing was that like so many people that tell the story of what happened, because it was so long and so like rolling, a lot of people were disoriented after the whole thing happened. Like they had sea legs, like they were still discombobulated and thought maybe there was still an earthquake going on, which I kind of felt too. Because I was in the shower, so that's like really strange to begin with. So yeah, it's like I'm on a boat,
Yeah, literally.
But it's funny because I've heard a lot of like I went to work and talked to a lot of people the past couple days, and a lot of people are talking about how it was so long. One, they're not used to it, but 2, it's like it was so long and rolling that after it was done, they still felt like maybe there was still something going on.
You got a little nauseous from it. You're like, oh, crap.
Yeah, exactly. So,
well,
and
it really felt
totally
like you were going up and down, like these little waves. Like, this is not supposed to happen.
So, thank you guys for giving me the time to.
Well, glad we could
dig up those brain cells as I'm drinking them away slowly and slowly. But yeah, that earthquake, San Diego, kind of a pity party for San Diego, I suppose, or Southern California in general, southern west, whatever.
West side.
Yeah, west side. We ride.
OE, red bandana.
Exactly.
West side. There you go.
Bloods and Crips.
Shit.
Bloods and Crips.
I'm glad, even through all our fun of having it, that really, even for Mexico, like, it's like two deaths have been reported from it. So
that's not bad. That's really not bad.
Being a 7 point, wasn't it like a 7.2 was the final like tally?
Yeah. Yep, 7.2.
So luckily we can joke about it for most of us. It's.
Well, I'm surprised there's not more San Diegoans that have died from just stressing out about a fucking earthquake.
Is it on like all the front pages of like all?
Oh hell yeah!
I don't read front pages.
I was watching the news.
Yeah.
I was watching a local news tonight, and there's a whole like 20-minute segment on what we were just talking about earlier, earthquake kits. It was ridiculous. Well, yeah, the hype.
Well, I'm
down
sure
here
we
is
beat that.
Still real.
I think we've talked about this shit for like a half hour, 40 minutes already. I don't really know.
Yes.
Yeah, we did. We covered it.
We covered it with a blanket just in case it was on fire too.
Okay, so in short, folks, earthquakes are fun but scary.
Yeah, just make sure you live in a place that has infrastructure to support a building to survive an earthquake.
There you go.
And if you ever think
Haiti.
that you're wrong about one, just look at Twitter.
Yeah, exactly. If you're ever in a shower naked and really confused about what's going on with the doors flapping around and things like that, just go onto Twitter and you'll find out that it was just an earthquake and not tripping balls. So anyway,
naked quakes equal Twitter.
Yeah. But another thing that shook the ground recently, shook it like a salt shaker or a snow globe.
Like a Polaroid picture.
Or a nanny with an angry baby. The iPad came out finally, which Derek posted earlier. Our fan page on Facebook. We had an Apple-esque episode where we covered all kinds of stuff, Apple. And, finally it came to light. It came to reality. And, a lot of different people have been talking about it. Good things, bad things, but the reality of what's going on. So let's just get into what we know physically, like have we bought one, have we used one, what are our personal experience with the iPad. Derek Helmer, bring it,
Derek
sir.
Helmer.
Derek Helmer.
Yeah, he himself has ordered his iPad with 3G, and so waiting for that to be announced when that's actually going to be shipping. Because right now, there's still no official date, just late April, which could be middle of May or something.
Yeah.
But so waiting on my 64 gig. We'll see how it goes. I played with one though. I had to go over to Best Buy and check that out, which was freaking spectacular.
Well, before you go more into it, why did you choose the iPad you chose? Why did you go with the 3G and all that?
First off, hopefully it would be something that would replace my laptop in day-to-day use anyway. I would never give up my laptop. I'd still need it for editing and stuff, but if I could get by with just the iPad for internet and email and Twitter or whatever, so be it. So I knew I'd be taking it everywhere, and then I also have no Wi-Fi connection where I'm at work, and I'm sure there'll be a time where I'd like to probably log on from work. So the 3G was definitely the only way to go for me.
Yeah.
And I'm already paying Sprint for 3G service for my laptop, and if I'm not using my laptop, I don't need to be with Sprint anymore. So that's $60 for 5 gigabytes. I can save a lot of money by switching over to AT&T, by switching over to Geico, and go from there.
You'll save tons of money.
It was like a no-brainer for me to use AT&T 3G, and AT&T 3G in my area is actually pretty excellent. There's not too many problems for the most part. It holds up. So I'm happy with the 3G. I will be ecstatic when it finally arrives. But I chose 64 gigs because I plan to probably have a lot of movies on it, and especially after seeing the HD movies that were over. The demo clips that they had on the iPad.
Yeah.
HD is for sure the way I'll be watching movies on this thing. So HD takes up a lot of room. Need a lot of gigabytes. So
done.
Can't wait.
For sure. All right. So Justin King.
Yeah.
You have publicly stated how adamant you were to waiting for the next generation iPad.
I have. I've many tweets at this point.
Recently,
go ahead.
And recently, you have actually gotten to hold and play with one.
Yes, yesterday, as a matter of fact.
So, what are your thoughts now, sir?
Well, at first, my first thoughts initially, and I made this public, like you said, were that which might I add, I still believe at this point, even after experiencing the iPad hands on, I should say. But yeah, waiting a year was my initial plan because Apple always drops the price significantly after the first generation. Plus, they'll add more features. Plus, at that point, imagine the App Store and how many awesome, badass iPad apps there will be at that point after a year to buy it right off the bat. So that's why I'm waiting a year for it to just cook a little bit and just get good. I mean, it's already good, but just get better.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah, I feel you. Well,
so
figuratively.
But yes, I mean, as far as the iPad in general, as far as just the device, I was adamant about it in a sense too. But then I went into Best Buy yesterday and actually used it, and just the feel of the device. I mean, being used to the iPhone and using the iPhone for a couple of years now, it feels exactly like the iPhone. Like they nailed the sensitivity like to the T. Like I was expecting to have to like drag the screen more to make the page go, but it was like the same amount of effort as the iPhone. It was just like everything just felt so right with it, and it just flowed. Like it's really something, if you know the iPhone, that you can just pick up and start using like immediately and know what to do, where to go. It happens. And it's just, that's what's fucking awesome about the iPad. So I'm definitely excited. I mean, I do see a lot of potential for it. I am eventually going to get one. But yeah, touching it, like actually seeing it and seeing how fluid it is and changing the wallpaper and doing like checking your email and typing on is fucking awesome too. It's just the experience of the iPad will change your mind. If you're thinking this bullshit, go try it out. That's all I got to say about that.
Seriously, I mean, I was okay go from the minute, that it was born, but seeing it in person, it's like no picture, no video ever did it justice.
Yeah,
and like
the screen, the quality of the screen itself is just it's like an Apple monitor. It's like an iMac monitor. It's just so crisp and clean and just colorful. That's what shocked me, is just the quality of the colors, and it looked just like you're looking at like an Apple Cinema display, just shrunk down. Yeah. I mean, it's that good. So
they certainly did the screen up for that thing. That is just and now it makes me actually hate the iPhone screen. I'm like, oh, why can't you be like the iPhone?
Yeah, using the iPhone afterwards felt weird. It was like
you feel like you're looking at a blurry image or something.
Yeah, it was almost like, wait, this is the same, but it's so small. Like that was weird because I played in it for at least like 20 minutes at Best Buy, and like afterwards I was on my phone and it felt strange. It was like not the same.
Yeah. Well, the comments everybody say, oh, it's just a giant iPod Touch, And now it's almost the other way around, where it feels like the iPhone is just a mini iPad.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a lesser than.
Yeah, it's like, oh, well, that's no iPad, but it's an iPhone. Okay.
So, Justin, are you still going to try and hold off till the next generation, or?
Yeah, well, I mean, at this point, financially, I don't really have the choice. Okay. So, I mean, my decision's not that hard right now.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, my plan is definitely, like I said earlier, is to buy one. But, due to my hardships right now, I think waiting a year is going to be perfect for me, just overall. So, I mean, like I said, though, imagine the iPad store a year from now, what they're going to have. Oh, yeah. They already have a lot of crazy shit out right now. So just imagine, it's going to be nuts. So.
Oh, yeah. Well,
if I can hold off, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, that's the thing with what happened with the iPhone or the iPod Touch. It's like, it's very minimal what was going on. App Store wasn't even created yet, and then, blew up. Like, literally
not even a year
exploded.
Down the road. It was like 6 months, maybe. So. Yeah, but because of my financial situation, I mean, I pretty much have to, so it's all good. I mean, like I said, it's going to be a huge price drop probably. They'll put out some bigger models in size. Probably be a faster processor in there or something. Who knows? But it's going to be a better model for cheaper, and the App Store will be crazy. So I think it's worth waiting if you can, It depends on your level of fanboyism.
Yeah, well, this is actually the first time where I've ever been any sort of early adopter for Apple. I always come on like after, kind of like you, like a year later or so, wait for the price drop. But this thing I just couldn't pass up. And I don't know, I'm kind of excited to be an early adopter. I'm actually willing to go through all the bugs and problems with it. I don't know, it seems kind of like a cool idea to be part of the guinea pig community.
Yeah. Well, one of the things with I was not a super early adopter with the iPhone, but I got right after they lowered the price. It was probably like a few months after they originally released it. They lowered the price on it, and I went and got it. So I was technically it was still the same
you're
generation.
still you had the first generation.
Yeah.
It's,
So and
really
the thing with their stuff is it's mostly software.
mm-hmm.
Like a lot of the problems are software, and they're really good at updating and fixing their problems. So yeah, I don't know. I really want to get one. I wanted to get one as soon as it was announced. I was like, I need to get this, but it's like Justin said, it's a financial thing where it's like I can't afford to get it.
Yeah,
it's
still $500. You know, it's
yeah.
kind of like damn. I mean,
well,
I wanted
to get a
possible.
netbook.
Technically, it's possible, and I'm sure it's possible for you too, Ray. But it's just I don't know if it's justified yet.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, the thing is, I wanted to get a netbook because I would love to be able to work on things, like be able to edit this podcast or just work on whatever outside of my home. And I don't need a laptop for that. Like, I do not need a fully functioning laptop. Like, laptops function way more and they have way more power than I need. I could get away with a netbook. And I was seriously considering getting a netbook like 6 months ago. And then there were the ideas of the iPad coming out again. And, it's a lot of the things I can do on my iPhone that I need to do without having a fully functioning laptop. And now it's like the iPad is not only a larger like iPhone or iPod Touch, but it's also, it performs better and the apps are designed for that hardware. So they're going to be more powerful applications, more powerful, hardware to back it up. So, like, everything I can already do on my iPhone, which is crazy, I'm only going to be able to do more on an iPad. And that, because it's a closed system, which a lot of people have problems with Apple and their closed systems, and I'm sure part of our last episode when I went on my rants had to do with how people complain about Apple's closed system. But the one thing about it is the closed system is that the things that go into the App Store actually work, and you don't have a device that crashes all the time.
Which bug-free for the most part.
Yeah, which, I mean, I used to build PCs. I used to own PCs for so long, and the biggest headache was the fact that things did not work right all the time. And 3 years ago, I got my first Mac, and ever since then, it's like I have never really had that problem. Like, here and there, there's been minor things, but they've been very, very minor compared to the problems and issues that I've had with PC products or Windows products. So the fact that there's a closed system on the iPhone means that very rarely does my iPhone ever crash. Like, when I had my Palm Trio, like, almost every 3 days, I had to take I had to do a hard reset with the battery. I had to take it out, put it back in, restart it, and it worked again. And with my iPhone, there is like a way to hard reset it, but I've only had to do that maybe twice in the 4 years I've had an iPhone, or 3 years I've had an iPhone. So, having a device, whether it's closed or not, there's so many developers that are, designing for this device. I'm not worried at all. Especially for the apps. I mean, there's already apps in the iPhone that can do most of the things that I want to do already. But now there's a device that's more powerful than the iPhone, bigger screen, which for what I want to do, like audio editing, I mean, I can already do video editing with transitions and all kinds of stuff on my iPhone. Like, so there's, it just basically enlarges the possibilities, not only physically, but just computer styly, which is very
computer
like,
styly.
Yeah, computer reggae up bigger, and just it feels so good. Like, it feels good in your hands. Like, a lot of people say that, but it really fucking feels good. Like, if you pick it up, it feels solid. It feels small and solid and good. Which
the weight for how the I don't know, just the weight felt proportionate to the device. Like, it didn't feel too light or too heavy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's slightly leaning towards the heavy side, but
Slightly,
you wouldn't want it to be a flimsy thing,
Exactly.
Like,
it doesn't feel like a play school toy.
Yeah.
It feels like a solid electronic device, which a lot of electronic devices feel like play school toys. and this feels solid and good and strong.
Well, it feels like a machine.
Exactly. Yeah, and it works really well. And it's like there was no lag. I played around with it today.
It feels like you're holding the head of a proportionately sized robot.
That's exactly exactly what I was thinking. That's it.
I don't know what that means, but I'm going to drink to it.
It feels like you're holding the head of a small robot.
And Wally is confused.
Yeah.
No, it's funny, I've been like, even for an Apple fanboy, when I would see these quotes from like Steve Jobs and on Apple.com, just a magical device,
Another tagline for it was I mean, it's outlandish, but I thought it was cool. But at the same time, it's like really a magical and revolutionary.
Yeah. And then when I held it, and I'm like, oh my gosh,
like revolutionary, maybe, but magical. I'm not sure about.
Apple
makes magic now.
It's like what to expect. I mean, you've had the iPhone for a few years. You're used to the Yes, I can touch stuff. Yeah. I can flick. Pinch, multi-touch. But for some reason, it's like it's all new again when you're doing it.
Going on to like Google Maps and stuff was just nuts. Like that was crazy. So was just typing. Like the size of the keys keyboard is not far from the size of the keys on the new Apple keyboards.
Yeah. They're actually bigger.
They're actually it's a tad bit bigger. Yeah.
Yeah.
But typing in landscape mode felt really like just.
Right. I didn't have any problems whatsoever. It was way easier to adopt to it than it was to learn to type on the iPhone. Yeah. This feels like you wouldn't even have to look at the keys almost, Yeah. Like your fingers still know where to go. Yeah. But overall, I would say this thing is just, there's nothing really about it that feels like a first generation device to me, and I don't really consider it to be, since it's based on the iPhone OS.
Yeah.
It is a first generation device. Like we're already seeing, this. Have you guys heard about this problem with the Wi-Fi?
Wi-Fi and charging.
Charging. I don't know. I mean, charging kind of makes sense to me. That people are having issues that you can only charge it with the 10 watt. Is that what you're referring to?
Well, no. People were. The only things I've heard of were people couldn't charge when it was docked to their computer.
Yeah, like
wouldn't
the
charge
USB
off USB
ports aren't powerful enough for it.
Yeah.
And so that kind of makes sense to me, but the Wi-Fi thing is a little bit concerning, and Apple, they just kind of suggested your typical fixes, just check on your router as opposed to check on the iPad.
And then they'll like release iPad OS.
It'll just be an OS update,
and it'll be like, oh, it works fine now, thanks.
Yeah.
Or you can just take it in, and they'll just like, oh, my bad, here you go.
But I mean, overall, I don't expect there to be a huge amount of problems, because those problems have typically been worked out, I think, with the iPhone already.
Yeah.
So it's coming to you already with everything that people were already griping about with the iPhone originally. Like it's already got the copy and paste. It looks like we're getting multitasking, at least announced on Thursday. So we'll see exactly what happens. But yeah, I'm not too worried about being an early adopter on this one. I don't think it's gonna, I don't imagine a whole lot of frustration with it.
So now that the iPad has been released, and there's been many tweets and Twitters and twats about it, what have you guys heard about people? Since none of us actually own one, Derek is going to be getting one. Lucky bastard. I hate you. Go to hell. But
likewise.
Anyway, from the people that have actually gotten one and have tweeted their experiences or posted their thoughts on it, what have you guys heard about what people think about the new iPad?
Well, I haven't heard anybody I'm listening to all the tech journalists and everybody, like all the critics and stuff. Everybody reviewing it. I haven't heard anyone really express serious disappointment with it, except maybe like Mike Arrington or something. But for the most part, there doesn't seem to be a lot of disappointment. I mean, everybody knew what they were getting beforehand about the multitasking, but it seems like as soon as everybody touches this thing, it's this is a hell of a device.
Yeah.
So there doesn't seem to be any real issues that people are having besides the Wi-Fi issue that just kind of developed since last night.
Yeah.
That there's this difficulty getting a good signal. And actually, I saw that on the iPads that we were demoing at Best Buy, that like the signal was really weak, but I just kind of brushed it off as, okay, well, we're at a Best Buy. I'm sure like the router's, quite a ways away.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't affect our internet speeds or anything. Like we were still able to get, really fast internet, but I really feel for those people that don't have any sort of internet connection whatsoever, which seems to be very, very limited. Like it's in no way widespread.
Uh-huh.
But it's that seems to be the only real problem is just this little Wi-Fi bug.
Wi-Fi, Justin.
But if you're trying to get on the internet, that's a pretty damn big problem.
True, especially since the only one out right now is
Wi-Fi
only. Yeah. So, Justin, what have you heard, brother?
Well, I haven't really been paying attention to the whole thing, post release, as far as Twitter and stuff goes.
Uh-huh.
I have heard about the Wi-Fi issue, yes. But for the most part, the people I've seen on Twitter who have it have been loving it so far. Like as far as like the apps that are already out, and just overall satisfaction levels have been high from what I've seen. Again, I haven't done a lot of like online research on people's opinions in general. There's always the haters. There will always be the haters for the iPad, which you hear about constantly. Derek actually tweeted that the earthquake was caused by God not liking the fact that there's no multitasking on the iPad.
Derek.
So,
yeah, well, fanboys to the end.
So, not to go on a tangent, but yeah, I mean, like I said, not a lot of research on a personal note, but from what I thought of it initially, hell yeah, I like it a lot. Yeah. I will get it soon.
Yeah, I like when it came out, obviously, like I follow a lot of the Red 3 guys, and
exactly, like Alex Albrecht got it, Kevin Rose got it.
Everybody,
so I was watching them open their boxes on TwitPic and whatnot, and that was cool.
Yeah, it was fucking cool for them. Anyway, but yeah, and they all had like the same thing, but I have a feeling they found a fix for the Wi-Fi deal, because if it was a big deal, like they couldn't connect to the internet, then it would have been that's all that I would have heard, Like, yeah,
well, it never would have been released. I think it would have been actually pushed back or whatever.
Yeah.
If this was like seriously a widespread issue.
Yeah.
That,
so
during the demo devices and stuff, nobody had this kind of problem. So
yeah. So whatever the fix was, I mean, that was a very common thing amongst them. But whatever the fix was, I mean, we don't know what that fix is, or if it's like just maybe a checkbox that they forgot to do, which is retarded or something. It's not something that I've heard since. Like, it's been a single complaint and then nothing but good the whole time. So I'm assuming that the overall consensus from at least the tech people, the geeks that I follow, that have been lucky enough fucking assholes to get one, are so happy about that. That was not a problem that has continued. So there was some kind of fix, which obviously I can't confirm or deny.
It definitely seems to be an addictive device. Like everybody I see who's tweeting about it, like they don't put it down at all throughout the day. It's just like it's been going on since Saturday now.
Yes,
that people are just and you can do this with it, and you can do it.
Yeah. And it's like the games that I've seen so far seem awesome, and like just even the Twitter applications, like they saying TweetDeck is really awesome for the iPad.
It looks pretty cool, yeah.
But there was some love from which is the first love I've ever heard for Twitterator, from Leo Laporte gave Twitterator their app on the iPad some props, which Justin and I don't know if Derek, if you've used it yet. We talked about this.
Yeah, I actually downloaded Twitterator for the iPhone, and it's a nice design. I like the layout of it, but I went right back to Tweety.
Okay.
However, I have also been using TweetDeck lately.
Okay.
On your
PC?
since the iPad came out, I saw like, oh, that's pretty awesome.
Well,
so
you've been using TweetDeck on your iPhone or your
on the iPhone, yeah.
Okay.
But actually, the more common reason for me using the TweetDeck is that I've been wanting to post to both Facebook and Twitter at the same time. However, I don't want every single tweet I make to go to Facebook because let's face it, I'm a bit of a geek and I keep my geek comments to Twitter. Okay. And Facebook are all the people that know me and I'm sure don't want to hear me talk about just iPhone OS 4.0 all day long. So so when there's something for me to say to Facebook, I'm using TweetDeck. So that's my primary reason for using it lately. But Twitter later, that I don't know. I could be a converter. We'll see. I was annoyed that Tweety still hasn't. Like Tweety is kind of late to the game on usually most of their releases. It took a while for the iPhone app. It took a really long time for their desktop app. We're waiting still for like Tweety 2 for the desktop. So I imagine it's going to be some time before we see Tweety for the iPad. I'll definitely need something to hold me over.
That's not good. Like if you have to, like Tweety 2 was huge. Like that was in the geek community. Tweety 2 was well known when it came out, especially for the iPhone. So the fact that they don't have that for the iPad is kind of crazy. And not only that, but the fact that I'm hearing Twitter, like something I've never, ever heard for the iPhone, which is something that I use religiously on my iPhone for tweets and my multiple Twitter streams. Like it's so crazy that Tweety has not been mentioned. But
they're absent.
TweetDeck is the only thing that I've like seen that's totally across the board consistently good. So I don't know.
Twitterific. I mean, it's free. It's it's pretty much, to me, I don't see any, like, from what I've seen of the screen grabs of it, like nothing looks that new or groundbreaking. It just kind of looks like a really nice upscaled version of their original like iPhone app. And I don't know, like I really like what TweetDeck is doing, where they're implementing like new layouts for all the extra space. Like I like, if you click on a link, it's going to like the top half of the page, so you don't actually have to leave the window. Your layout is all still there. Twitterific, like doesn't look like, I haven't used it though, so I can't say for sure, but it doesn't look like they did anything new with it. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I'll definitely be playing with them all. We'll figure out which one goes best with me. But I mean, I'm sure once Tweety does come out, like that's the thing about Tweety is like once it releases its version, it kind of catches up to the rest of the crowd really quickly, and goes a little step.
They're lazy
beyond.
About developing.
Yeah, it's kind of like Apple in that way. Like Apple,
Apple's way ahead though.
They're way ahead, but they let other people take the first steps, and then they build on that and steal it from them. It's like the Kindle. The Kindle develops this huge ebook community, and now we're gonna see iPad just completely destroy it.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's, since you mentioned that, I didn't have this in the show notes, but since you mentioned that, what do you think? I mean, a lot of places I've seen like kind of display the iPad and kind of give a promo of it. One of the apps they do is the Marvel app, which is a comic app, or not just comic app. They do the comic app, they do the iBook app, and they do like a textbook. It's like a science application. So
the Elements or something like that.
Yeah. So I mean, all those are basically forms of old media, like print media, and transferred into the iPad. So how do you think those? Like, how do you think it forms into the iPad opposed to the Kindle? Like, do you think it's a Kindle killer? Like, let's throw that shit out there, because everybody's trying to kill the iPhone, and there's going to be a lot of iPad killers. So, you think the iPad is a Kindle killer?
I certainly do. I think, well, for the general public, I think there's going to be still those real Kindle fans that are going to complain that the iPad, the contrast isn't great enough, and it's hard to see in direct sunlight. Yeah. So I think you're going to have those naysayers that are just, no, I want to be able to read this in any sort of condition. But I think like 80% of the audience out there or the viewers that are, whatever you call it, the readers, 80% of the readers out there are, I think, really enticed by the iPad and reading books on that screen. I played with iBooks, when I was demoing it, and it looks really crisp and clear to me. I don't think I would have any issues with reading on that thing. I mean, the screen is so sharp as it is. It'd be one thing, like, because I'm not entirely a fan of using the iPhone to read anything. And, before I saw the iPad screen, I figured that's what you were going to be kind of viewing it on, just a larger version of the iPhone screen. I didn't realize how much, HD resolution it would be. So I thought it was kind of going to be a little fuzzy, but once you put a book on that thing, there's no issues. And I think once people see that, that you can have all these color images and I'm trying to think that the app, the Elements. So it's like they make a textbook, and
then like and it's kind of like images. It's like 3D, like interactive images.
Mm-hmm. And so it's pretty much a textbook that comes to life.
Yeah,
so I think that's going to be the norm for quite a few different textbook routes, I imagine.
Mm-hmm.
I totally think this is a Kindle killer. It'll still remain because there's still going to be a small audience that I think that will really want to do it. I think there's a lot of people that already have a Kindle. They have a huge library. I don't think they'll think that they'll need to upgrade. But for anybody who doesn't have one, I think there's not going to be any question about it that they're going to do iPad. But I mean, I'm really excited that they put the whole Kindle store, the Kindle app for the iPad, which I've only seen in screenshots. They didn't have that on the demo units, but the screenshots look pretty fantastic. So I think between that and Stanza and iBooks, like, you're going to be able to find just about anything that you want to read on this thing. So it's I don't know. That may be the number one thing I use this for, which would be that's not what I intended it for. But now, as I see more and more of it, I'm like, oh, I'm actually excited to read. I mean, I've been an audiobook guy for the last year or so. But it's kind of I like definitely not having to lug a bunch of books around.
Yeah. So Justin, what do you think about the whole interactive book type deal with the iPad? Like, iPad versus the Kindle, and what that brings to not only books but like textbooks and other things.
Well, a lot of comments on this. Basically, as far as the whole, like Derek mentioned, with the Kindle to the iPad, people will prefer e-ink over an LCD screen in situations, especially if they read books a lot. I can see the benefit of the e-ink because it's just easier on the eyes. And that's been, heightened a lot as far as the differences. But as far as overall market, the iPad just brings so much more to the table over the Kindle that it's going to draw a much bigger audience. And I think it'll eventually, it's going to steal a lot of the Kindle's thunder, not just because of the ebook situation, but because, the ebook thing is one small part of what the iPad can do. So, and as far as textbooks, being, as somebody who's going to be going back to school here pretty soon, the fact that I can possibly download a textbook onto my iPad instead of paying, hundreds of dollars for a big ass book is definitely enticing. And I don't know, especially for comics and everything else. I mean, the iPad overall is just a big blow to print media in general.
Yeah. Well, not only just like how crazy it is to print media or the Kindle, but just like the opportunities it opens up for like just new media, like the way media is presented to people. Like, it's not just going to be like traditional textbooks are text and pictures.
Yeah.
Or color pictures. Maybe they're color and they're really good color pictures. Whatever. It doesn't matter. It's like now it's like you could be reading a book on CSS or graphic, like Photoshop, and instead of just giving you the tutorial in text form, you can also click on a video and it shows you step by step, like a really basic step by step video on what you need to do. Or instead of just reading a history book, there's a clip to a video of World War II and the kamikazes bombing ships or something like that, which is way more content than you would ever get from just a textbook. And it's all right in your little, 10
definitely. It's going to change. Yeah, it's going to change the whole concept of a book in general. It's going to like just totally make people rethink, the instructional information. Like just in general, this is going to.
That book or the app, The Elements, you know, like which is kind of like what we keep referring to.
Yeah.
That book right there, it's like it's a future book. It's not like anything we're really used to seeing. Like it's as close to being like a book that you would see in Minority Report. You know, like you can just interact with all these objects. There's stuff going on in the background while you're reading. You've got lots of information, you know, flowing about the kind of the screen. It's definitely I like, you know, it's the wave of the new series of, especially for textbooks. This is, you know, this is the future.
Just books in general.
Interaction.
Like Kevin Rose was talking about he's supposed to be getting a book deal or something like that. And he wants to design the book, like do a book like traditional form, but then have almost like a DVD has special features. Like if you were to buy the book for the iPad, it would have a lot of video and audio content that are supplemental to the book. So like say he's talking about a certain subject, there would be the videos and things that he was talking about as supplemental material in the book. So it's like he's talking about how you crowdsource or whatever, and there's a video about how he crowdsources or something like that, which is not what he was talking about, but it's like just supplemental things that you wouldn't think to add to a book. Like you could almost, it's a totally interactive type of a medium. It's like a totally new medium because you have text, video, pictures, you can have audio, you can have all kinds of different crap loaded into this quote unquote book that you can't get out of Barnes and Noble, you know, because
a good preview of its capabilities is that program that's on there that's pre-installed, I think, where it's like almost like Microsoft like PowerPoint in a sense, where you can make like a presentation and you can format text and add pictures in just by dragging it into the text and like dropping pictures and videos where you want. Is it Keynote?
Okay.
I believe
no, I think you're talking about Words.
Yeah, but yeah, the version for the iPad where it's just totally like, you know, of course, touch, and you can just take pictures and drag them into the text, like with your fingers and add video and everything, just all on the fly, like right there.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a decent preview of what, you know, is capable with this technology.
Seriously, yeah, I don't know. It almost makes me hate using a mouse now. Like I'm using the trackpad, and I'm like, oh, this is such archaic.
Yeah,
I'm like, are you kidding me? I gotta click. Ugh.
Like I can't just hold my monitor in my hands and just like point where it needs to go.
Really? Come on.
All right. Well, enough of this iPad shit.
Hullabaloo.
Hullabaloo. Enough of this hullabaloo. Let's move on to what is known in the industry as the Wilhelm Scream, which that is that.
Beautiful.
Which is somewhat of an unknown thing for many moviegoers, but for sound geeks such as Derek Helmer
and geeks in general, actually, there's a lot of geeks that tend to know this only from Star Wars.
Exactly. So we're just gonna move into that and what it is and what it means and all kinds of shit like that. Just because this is basically like one of the first Easter eggs in film, for the most part. Yeah. And now with DVDs and Blu-ray and things like that, there's other Easter eggs. But we're gonna start with the OG, the original gangsta Easter egg, the Wilhelm Scream. So Derek Helmer, why don't you just give us a brief synopsis of what this is, where it came from, and how it's implemented.
All right. So the Wilhelm Scream is the name that has been dubbed, you know, to this this generic scream that it's stock, you know, a stock sound effect that's been in, I think it was Warner Brothers library. It was first used in 1951 for the movie Distant Drums, which I'll admit I've never heard of, but it came from that, and it was kind of used a bit here and there in different movies in the 50s, like The Charge at Feather River. There's a Private Wilhelm, so this is where it keeps its name. And you know, it originally it's kind of in Distant Drums. It's used as a sound effect for I think there's like soldiers that are kind of wading through a swamp, and an alligator drags one of them down, and this is the scream from it. The scream. which is classic.
Yeah.
The Scream seems to be I don't think it's official, but people believe it's I'm trying to think of the guy's name. Oh, okay, I have it right here. Sheb Woolley, who sang the song Flying Purple People Eater. That's him screaming, apparently. So we'll see. I'm not sure if that's true or not. Okay, so the guy I kind of profiled, I think a couple months ago now, Ben Burt.
Yep.
He's kind of the godfather of bringing the sound effect back to life. Used it in A New Hope, and in every film that he's done the sound for since then. He's thrown it in every single movie. So yeah, all the Star Wars movies, the prequels, everything. Wilhelm's in there. It's in all the Indiana Jones movies, and now it's it's kind of like it's one of these sound effects that it's almost just this ongoing gag that people still throw it in to stuff as a nod, not to the actual original source of it, but now it's just a nod to haha, yeah, we're doing the Star Wars thing, we're throwing it in. And I follow Jon Favreau on Twitter. And then he notified us that yes, indeed, the Wilhelm Scream is going to be in Iron Man 2, which comes out very soon. So it's still going strong. The Wilhelm Scream. It's been in countless movies. And I think it's only in the last 15 years, I think, that people are actually really talking about it. If you weren't in the business, I'm not sure, who caught on to the name was the Wilhelm Scream. I guess somebody must have asked Ben at some point, what do you name that thing? Mm-hmm. But I've heard it for about the last 10 years. It was a sound effect I always noticed as a kid, just because it's a funny scream. Yeah. But it's I had no idea that it was used like so widespread.
Yeah.
So Wilhelm, definitely classic sound effect. It's probably the best known sound effect.
Yeah.
Of all movie history time.
So yeah, my introduction to it, I mean, other than knowing Derek and the little he's talked about sound on the show, which hopefully more and more we'll get more of these things on the show. But I was watching Film Riot, which is a podcast from Revision 3, which has to do with a lot with film. They were doing a whole series on sound, and they did I think it was a whole episode or close to a whole episode on the whole Wilhelm Scream, and different movies it was in, and it was amazing. I didn't know, I was so ignorant to the fact that there was this common sound used in so many movies for just a random scream sound for a character. And so I first saw that episode of Film Riot, and then that made that present in my mind. And then I saw the same tweet Jon Favreau put on Twitter about how he added in the Wilhelm Scream into Iron Man 2, and I think he had also mentioned that to people, do you remember where it was in Iron Man 1?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he had a little contest.
Yeah, which it's, I think that clip from Iron Man 1 was actually in the Film Riot episode, because they went through all the different movies that the Wilhelm Scream appears in, which is almost every big movie ever made. It's a very common sound effect they use. So
well, once you train your ear for it,
exactly,
you can't not help it but to hear it.
Yeah, which if for the people listening now have not heard it, this is what it sounds like. Listen closely, because this is what the Wilhelm Scream is. So that's the Wilhelm Scream right there. Yeah, so which it's slightly generic, but I seriously never noticed it. But now it's I probably will notice it all the time. But not until, Jon Favreau said that, he put in the new movies, and well, we didn't talk about this shit. So Justin, are you familiar with this? Have you heard it before at all?
Well, as far as, being familiar with the history of it and stuff, no. I mean, I've heard of the band called the Wilhelm Scream. That's kind of how I heard this term.
So tell us before you go into that, just segue onto what the fuck is the Wilhelm Scream band?
The band,
I didn't even know there was a band.
Like screamo metalcore band that like they're okay, but not my cup of tea. I like the more aggressive style. As you know, I like the extreme forms of metal. So not
sounds
my
like
taste
nerdcore
really.
metal.
It's sort of but yeah, that's where the term was familiar to me was from the band actually.
Okay.
But just hearing the Wilhelm Scream, I recognize it from so many different movies. Like you said, most of the big movies, like the blockbuster movies, have it in there somewhere. So yeah, it's definitely familiar. I just can't pinpoint exactly where I've heard it before, but I've heard it a lot. It's definitely like once I heard it, separated out like on that Wikipedia site you linked all of us to.
Yeah,
it was just it's immediately I was familiar with it. So yeah, it's been a lot of shit.
For sure.
And it's cool. I like it.
Cool. Yeah. So on the topic of Easter eggs, unless Derek, did you have any more to add to the Wilhelm Scream? Like, actually, you know what, Derek? Are there any other sounds that, I mean, since you are a sound, quote unquote, geek,
I'm a sound geek.
You are a resident sound geek. You are our sound guru, as it were.
Please, pray tell, Derek. Pray tell.
Bring to us the other sounds that you may know of that are similar to the Wilhelm Scream, but maybe not as common.
Well, okay. There's we have a few here, and actually, I don't think I can play these back where you can hear. But okay, the Tarzan call.
Okay.
All right. Now that is something that was recorded, in 1932. From Tarzan the Ape Man.
Uh-huh.
That really generic, Tarzan, scream. Can you hear that at all?
Oh wait.
Does that
again?
go through?
Play it again.
You'll.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah.
Does that transfer?
It's slightly. It kind of fades. I don't know if you moved your microphone or not. Yeah.
The generic Tarzan call. So whenever Tarzan has been used since then, it's kind of been thrown in to all the remakes. That Tarzan, it's in Disney's Tarzan. It's just this classic like sound effect that's just overused. We've got hold on, let me see here. We've got like loons, okay, like the loons from On Golden Pond. A bird call. You'll hear these certain loons. There's only like 5 recordings of loons in movie history, but whenever there's like you're at a lake, you see an image of a lake, you'll hear loons. Whether or not you'll see them in the image at all, it doesn't matter. You'll hear these little birds that are constantly played. And then there's always the same generic movie owl. That's another thing that is just, if it's a night scene, you're looking at a forest, the same, it's the same owl recording over and over and over again. It's not something that goes, oh, we need to record some owls for this movie. It's literally the same. Yeah. And it's just called movie owl. Mm-hmm. That's all. That's the sound effect name, just movie owl. And it's just very and
Derek, never do your own sound effects.
I'll try to refrain from that in the future. But
you sound like a homeless guy fucking a donut.
It just so happens that's what my owl sounds like. All right.
Oh wow, I'm sorry. I was generalizing. I'm sorry. My bad.
Stuff you don't really think about, like the telephone ring. That's it's the one with the bells, like your old school telephone, ring, that is the exact same sound effect. It's not edited. It's been used since the 70s pretty much. Like the Matrix telephone, like whenever.
Yes.
That is not Morpheus. Like let's get a new recording of that. Yeah. It's the same recording that we've heard over and over and over again. So most of these things are generic, they're like they're general stuff that you don't really need to go out and record a whole new sound effect for. The Wilhelm Scream is just funny, and there's not really too many other instances where that kind of transfers over.
So answer me this real quick, Derek. Do movie production studios like have the right? Can they own the rights to those sounds? Like that's the thing. It's like these sounds that are so widely used. Don't certain studios like say Paramount, Universal, don't they own those sounds?
They do. It becomes part of their stock library, And I believe the way it works is that you can buy rights to the library. Like you can buy the actual the discs of that, So by buying it, which are extremely expensive to buy another studio's library. Usually each studio has their own.
It's like buying the rights. It's like buying the rights to publish an image if you're a designer. Like
yeah,
like
essentially, yeah, exactly. But so the sound effects belong to a certain studio, unless like the Wilhelm is so old. I think it's been rebought, I guess, by Warner Brothers. But it's just one of those things. Like it's I don't know if you pay royalties to somebody for using a sound effect or what, but yeah, there's nothing quite like the Wilhelm Scream. We kind of hear the T-Rex from Jurassic Park. Like you hear that kind of often.
Really?
Yeah, that's kind of the generic dinosaur call now. And we hear it, besides Jurassic Park, they obviously would copy that over to all the Jurassic Park movies, but I believe I heard it in King Kong, the Peter Jackson remake, and then also it's in Avatar. The same exact T-Rex. Yeah, the same exact T-Rex recording.
You know what, Derek, you just made me hate Avatar even more. Thank you for that.
Shut your face.
No, I make me, bitch, make me. But yeah, seriously, like, man, because the last fucking Jurassic Park movie I watched was like Jurassic Park 3. Where they like had the petrified vocal cords.
Don't talk about Part 3, man. It doesn't even deserve the Jurassic Park what's the title? The main title.
Main title. It doesn't. No,
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. But they had like the petrified remains of vocal cord, and they like blew into it, and like some kid is like, no, call for help. Like they blew into it wrong. It's like, oh no, wait, I'm sorry, wait. It's like I know how the fuck to blow through vocal cords petrified in wood. How to call for help. That movie was made bad. So bad. But yeah, I can't believe that's a lot of sounds though. A lot of sounds. There's a lot of visuals though that.
I mean, talk about like as far as when I was a little kid growing up, like seeing Jurassic Park for the first time. That fucking T-Rex roar was like the most shocking and just like most terrifying thing I'd ever heard in my life up to that point. It was just like insane.
Well, you don't forget it after you hear it.
Yeah, exactly. It's to this day, it's like it is associated with that. There's no other like you know what that is exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So awesome job, Steven Spielberg, back in the day.
That's right.
Thanks for scaring the shit out of me during that scene. That whole scene, dude, was just freaked me out when I was a little kid. I wasn't that little. I was like 12 when that came out, 13.
Right.
I was still fucking freaked out by it. So
I don't think we've heard like the Velociraptors or anything in any other movie. That's like actually too iconic, because they have that sort of bobble-nosed dolphin.
Well, I think
scream to it.
I think one of the guys that's really known for his sounds is Steven Spielberg, which I don't know if you guys mentioned that already. Like in E.T., when the keys jangling, that's a really noticeable sound. In Jurassic Park, the whole water, like the ripples in the water, that sound effect that they did for that.
The boom.
Yeah. There's really, and like what was it? The Alien movie, which I can't think of the name.
AI? Or no, Close Encounters?
Yes. Close Encounters. Yeah. Like the do 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 do.
Yeah.
Like he has a lot of very even War of the Worlds with like the big huge base of the
tripod.
Aliens. Yeah. Dude, my neighbors got pissed the fuck off when I was watching that movie. Because I was watching it, and all of a sudden it's like the most bass I've ever heard out of my surround sound ever. And my neighbor's like, I was like,
that's actually a great sound effect. That was good. Very good.
No, that wasn't the sound effect. That was me banging. My neighbors downstairs are probably really pissed off right now. But yeah, that's what it was. It's like, oh shit, I didn't know it's this movie. It's the middle of the day. I'm sorry. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm sorry. But it fucking pissed people off. I'm just pissed. So I'm sorry. Don't. Shh.
Yeah, Steven Spielberg likes signature sounds, like sounds that only remind you of his movie.
Yeah.
I mean, he's thrown in the Wilhelm Screams, well, thanks to George Lucas and Ben Burtt on Indiana Jones films, but yeah, definitely that's one of my favorite things about old Stevie. He appreciates a good sound geek.
For sure. All right. So, are there any other Easter eggs? I mean, the term Easter egg really became popular with DVDs. The one I most notably remember is The Matrix, when that came out with the Easter eggs, which are kind of like the hidden features on a DVD. I mean, that's very similar to a hidden sound in a movie. Do you guys have any experience with Easter eggs in movies?
I have a few. I don't take the time to find them.
I don't either,
most of the time.
So what have you taken the time for?
Okay, actually, I don't know how I discovered this. I didn't read about it or anything. I just clicked on it one time. In the Lord of the Rings movies, I'm trying to think. I think it's the extended editions. When you're looking through the chapter menus and you scroll all the way down to past the end credits, there'll be a hidden image of a ring that suddenly appears, and when you click on that, you get the MTV Movie Award, either accepted speeches or reenactments of Lord of the Rings from the MTV Movie Awards.
About this.
Yeah, these spoofs. So there's a lot of stuff with Andy Serkis and Gollum. Really funny stuff that they throw on. So, all three movies of the trilogy have the same it's a different feature on each Easter egg, but it's in the same location.
Nice.
So yeah, go check out the chapter menus. That's some of the favorite ones that I found. What are you referring to in the Matrix?
Oh, well, in the Matrix, there's one of the menu scenes, you can choose a green or a blue or red pill.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go to, I think it's the red pill, I could be wrong, but it takes you to production stills or sketches of concept art for the Matrix.
I see.
There's a lot of things in the Matrix DVDs. I don't know if it's still in the Blu-rays, but in the DVDs where you can go into a lot of the production ideas for what happened to the elephant in the back room of Derek's recording studio. It's really crazy because there's no midgets or sideshow freaks that are riding the midgets, but
it's always a party.
It's totally crazy. Yeah.
People are just walking in and out. Elephants or
exactly. But yeah, no, there's a bunch of Easter eggs in the menu scenes, which I know that was probably one of the first DVDs that I saw with Easter eggs, and it was pretty extensive, the Easter eggs that were in there. But I know there's other ones.
Seen them. I don't know.
I know there's other ones I want to say Fight Club had one, but I'm pretty sure it didn't. But I know The Matrix had one and there's other ones where you have to cycle through the menu 3 times, and then you hit left or right or whatever, and it opens you up to a special feature, but it's a totally unlocked special thing that you can only get to through whatever. But
yeah, that's something I'm gonna miss, about DVDs when they do kick the bucket, and Blu-rays don't continue that, which I imagine Blu-rays probably will. But when it becomes a completely digital medium through the internet or something that we're receiving our media, that's gonna be sad that we don't have these little hidden.
Well, it's just gonna open it up. I mean, they could still have it. It'll just be online. It won't be on a disc. It'll be something where type in this code and go to this website.
It'll be a pain in the ass, though. That's the problem. But I don't know if they did something like that on iTunes. What are they calling their DVD movies that they're selling, the special features and all that with?
I don't know. Extras?
Yeah, iTunes Extras.
Oh,
yeah, that's it.
Okay.
That's actually it. Yeah, where you buy the movie and it has some of the special features from the DVD. But hopefully they continue having some sort of special feature program.
Yeah, I mean that was the best thing about DVDs, is that there were special features. Like there were things that you did not ever get on VHS, ever.
I got a crazy Easter egg situation for you guys.
All right, bring it.
You might have known. This goes back to the old school. But do you guys remember when the news first broke? There's hidden sexual Easter eggs in pretty much every Disney cartoon made in the past like 15 years.
Yes, I do. Yes.
And actually seeing those for yourself.
Yes. Like in what was it, Lion King, where like the lion, he lays down and like the pollen floats in and says like sex or something like that.
Exactly. I mean, there's a couple in Aladdin that are just like right there in your face.
Yeah.
Like, and Little Mermaid too.
Yeah, nothing can be nothing can be written off about Little Mermaid. Like that is what it is. You know?
Oh yeah, the priest at the end of the movie gets a huge boner during that marriage scene at the end when they're on that boat. It's bad. I mean,
that and the front cover.
You don't want it to be real. I remember when I first heard about that, I was like, no, it's Disney. That can't be true. And then I saw it. And I was like, really? Like it scarred the image of Disney for me. It really did. It was just it's hilarious, but at the same time, shockingly disturbing.
Yeah.
So that is my Easter egg scenario I brought forth to the table tonight, folks.
That's a good one. That there was another one where in The Lion King where the Uncle Scar, I think it's Scar, jumps through the flames. I think it's that character jumps through the flames, and he says something like, "You have to put the volume up like really loud," but it has like something to do with like "have sex with me" or something like that. I don't know. There's like crazy shit, but there's a lot of like rumors or like Easter eggs or whatever you want to call them for Disney movies that have like a whole lot of sexual innuendo going on, big time, hardcore,
outrageous,
naked time, penises, and vaginas, crazy.
Seriously,
but I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely out there, and
now we're just gonna see like from Disney just their High School Musical kids like sex tapes or something, you know, like as little special features. In the years to come, this is what we have to look forward to, kids.
Yeah.
I mean, the Little Mermaid had a little hidden image right on the front cover of the movie when it first came out on VHS tape. Part of the their underwater castle, whatever it was. Part of it was a straight up like dildo sticking up.
It was a penis.
Yes, was part of the castle.
It was a pee-pee.
It's right there in the cover. I mean, it was just so blatant.
Yeah.
And Disney. Shame on
denying
Disney,
it.
Folks. Shame on Disney.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Little sex fiends.
So before we move on, let's all just soak up this monumental sound that's been in so many movies, and then we'll just move on into our inspired recommendations. But first, let's soak up the sound of the Wilhelm Scream. In 3, 2, 1.
Makes me want to come. That's a sound geek.
That's I don't.
Wilhelm.
Yeah. Okay. Well, from that, Derek, thank you.
Right.
Let's just transition to our inspired recommendations.
I feel strange now.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all this Disney sex talk.
I do too.
All this,
Man, Jesus. I'm glad I'm sitting down. Well, anyway, let's move into our inspired recommendations for the week. This is the section where we recommend anything we're into for this particular week. It could be a movie, application, a magazine, a book, whatever it is that we're into. This is where we recommend it to our listeners. So, Justin King, what is your inspired recommendation for the week?
Well, I'm going to recommend this week a documentary film I saw on Hulu about 4 or 5 days ago now. Just randomly saw it. I went to hulu.com to just see what was up and saw a link to it. It's called Mac Heads is the name of the documentary. And it's basically a documentary about Apple fanboyism in general. And you know, it takes it from not really from a biased perspective. It's not like it's a PC guy trying to make fun of the Apple fanboys or, you know, a situation like that. It's just showing the dedication of Apple users and the levels they go to It goes to a couple trade shows, where Steve Jobs, or keynote presentations, I should say. The camera crew goes to a couple of those. It goes to a couple product release things, events at Apple stores and whatnot, and just talks to people. And it's about an hour or so. It's crazy to see the level that these people get to sometimes. Like, being a fanboy myself, it's crazy to see that there's so many other levels to fanboyism for Apple. Like, it's so far beyond the level I'm at. It blew my mind a little bit. So it's worth watching. And like I said, it's on Hulu. Watch it for free anytime you want. It's called Mac Heads.
I am a fan of that movie, actually. That's a very good documentary. Although those people are far out. They're beyond help.
So you're a big fan of them. They're far out, man.
They're far out. No, I mean, pure up simple fanboy over here.
When you see the guy in the crowd who has a Scottish kilt on with a Steve Jobs shirt with an LED belt saying Steve knows best or something like that flashing on the screen.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about.
There are limits to my fanboyism.
All right, so Derek, what are your limits for your inspired recommendation for this week?
This might be the limit that I set. That this may be the last iPhone app that I recommend. I don't know,
because soon once you get your iPad, you're just gonna be like, I have an iPad application.
Why am I gonna buy?
Ray Taylor can't buy yet, fucker.
Yeah.
All right,
no,
so
actually,
iPhone.
This is a really nice iPhone app. A lot of people have been talking about it lately. Articles, which is a Wikipedia app, and like, what can be so great about a Wikipedia app? It's Wikipedia. But this thing is done really well. It's like a super nice layout. It kind of incorporates a little bit of like Tweety into it, just like the user interface of Tweety for the iPhone. There's a lot of, I don't know. It's just like, it makes Wikipedia look like, like Web 2.0. Because if you go to the website of Wikipedia, it's utter, like design crap. There's a lot of information. It's jumbled. There's nothing aesthetically pleasing about it. Anyway, articles just makes it like really simple. It looks actually like an Apple app or something. It's very cool. Pictures are done really well on it. I don't know. It's just you gotta check out the screenshots. So yeah, it's Articles, the Wikipedia app in the iTunes App Store, and it's $2.99. And the developer is working on a iPad version of it, obviously, which I'm sure would be freaking gorgeous. But if as a college student, I'm running into this quite a bit these days. I've had it for a few weeks now.
Nice.
You need your Wikipedia from time to time.
Sweet. All right.
Does it top Wikipanion though, Derek? Would you say?
Oh, heck yes, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I used to use Wikipanion, and now it's I had like the free version of that, so I don't know all the features that the paid one had. But I actually paid for this because it was pretty. That's all it is. It's pretty. Makes Wikipedia pretty.
It's so pretty.
Yeah.
I like you so
like you've got actually a really cool feature of it is the nearby function, which so it opens up like a Google map inside the app, and it GPSes you, and you get to see Wikipedia apps that relate to your surroundings. So say you're if you're in Paris and you're looking at the Empire State Building, you can see the what's around you and go straight to the Wikipedia app or page for it. So very, very handy.
Nice.
There you go.
Right. So
now you're in line.
My recommendation for this week is an album by Broken Bells. The album is self-titled, so it's Broken Bells is the title of the album as well. Basically, it's the producer of it's Danger Mouse is the producer, who has done the Gray album. If anybody's familiar with that, it's basically he took Jay-Z's I think it's Black album and mixed it with the Beatles' White album, and did a whole mashup of that. And then he formed Gnarls Barkley, which I'm sure many people are familiar of, Gnarls Barkley. And then he went to form a new group called Broken Bells, which is Danger Mouse, who's the producer, and what's his name? James Mercer, who is the lead singer and lead guitarist for the Shins, which is an indie rock type group. So it's basically the producer for Gnarls Barkley and the lead singer of the Shins formed this group. It's called Broken Bells. It's very, I mean, if you like both of those groups, it makes a lot of sense. It's very mellow indie rock type of awesome music. I mean, if you like the Shins, if you like Gnarls Barkley, you most likely like this band. So yeah, I've been listening to that quite a bit recently, and a lot of good music. And I actually found them on Jimmy Fallon Show, which is the late night Jimmy Fallon on NBC. And yeah, it's really good music, really mellow, calm, indie rock type music. So yeah, that's my recommendation for the week. Broken Bells.
Right on.
So deal with that, bitches.
I've never heard of that. I'll check them out. I like Gnarls Barkley.
Yeah,
I like the Shins.
Well, then there you go. You guys get together and have a dance party.
We'll swap.
So now we move into where we can find more of your work online. Derek Helmer, let's start with you, sir.
You can Google Derek Helmer, DerekHelmer, and you can probably find just about everything that I do. All two things: Facebook and my blog at DerekHelmer.com. That's right. You can find my Twitter account too. You can follow me at Derek Helmer.
You just simplified the whole thing. I like that.
Yeah, just Google me. No, actually,
Google me, bitch.
I have like a Google profile page.
I don't know if he meant search by that term.
No, you can't search me. You can only Google.
You can Bing me, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh shit!
I'm unbingable.
Justin King Bing me.
All right, Justin King. Right. Where can we Bing you at?
You can Bing me over at jkdesigns.squarespace.com. That is my portfolio / blog website. You can also follow me on Twitter. I am Twitter.com/JustinKing1. That is a capital J, capital K, and the number 1. You can also follow me, or not follow me, but challenge me to a duel of sorts. Anything you wish. On Xbox. My name is Xbox. Capital E, double X, capital BOCKS. And that is me, folks. Sorry.
Amazing. Follow me on Twitter. Twitter.com/Ray Taylor. You can see all the work I do at inspireddisorder.com, and you can follow all the updates for that website at twitter.com/inspireddisorder. There's no E in disorder, and so it were, and so it is, and so it will be. Derek Helmer, bring it the credits, sir.
All right, I do this with great pride. You can go to inspireddisorder.com/podcast to view show notes, leave comments, and share this episode as well as past episodes.
Send your questions, suggestions, and recommendations to inspireddisorderpodcast@gmail.com, folks. Inspireddisorderpodcast@gmail.com.
And you can go to inspireddisorder.com/store to check out all the podcast merchandise as well as donate to the show. If you donate $10 or more, that will get you a shout out to your website or anything else you want us to pimp on our podcast. And you don't have to start with $10. You can donate as little as $1 or more. It's up to you guys. Just help us out. So, until next time, guys, this is Ray Taylor for Derek Helmer and Justin King saying, peace the motherfucking out.
Where is your inspiration? You lost it oh so long ago.
You'll Wilhelm Scream when you bing the king.